Hi, everyone. It's me, Krylios, Team Racing Productions MC and producer. And joining me today on the Team Racing YouTube channel are the co-hosts of Fish Tea Podcast. Welcome.
Hi.
Hi. Welcome, everyone. It is so great to have you here. How are y'all?
Cold.
I agree.
I love that. Cool. All right. So I want to kick this off by having each person introduce themselves and just give a little bit about your background. Okay. So who wants to go first? All right, Glenroy, you kick it off.
Oh, hi. I'm the shy one, I promise. No, hey everybody. My name is Glenroy. My background is in LGBT rights advocacy. I'm currently the interim executive director of the leading LGBT rights advocacy organization in Jamaica, JFLAG. I also tutor human rights law now at the Faculty of Law in Mona, and I'm a house mother. So yeah, it's a little bit of that, you know. And I'm one of the founding members of Fish Tea, but I'm the Michelle.
You're the Michelle. Okay. Well, listen, we love a Michelle, and we love proud Michelle. So that's cute. Who's up next? Anyone can go.
Okay, I'll go. Hi, I'm Lanvell. I am the outgoing health and wellness program manager at Equality for All. I'm not sure what else I'm supposed to say. I'm new to the Fish Tea team. Been here for 1 year, one glorious year. And yeah, that's it for me.
Fabulous. Next.
Angela to give me brunch. The brunch queen.
Yes. Who's up next?
Yes.
I'll go next. I'm Kareem. I'm one of the founding members of the Fish Tea Podcast. And since nobody knows claim, I'll proudly proclaim to be the Beyonce of the group. I'm the Beyonce of any group that I walk into. Hello. I'm a hopefully final year. I'm a doctoral candidate here in the US, where I've been titling myself a social justice scholar practitioner. So a lot of human rights, gender rights, especially LGBTQ rights. I literally study the funding of LGBTQ organizations and advocating for more funding for that kind of work. So yeah.
Fabulous. And last but not least,
the best for last.
Hello.
Hi, I'm Emme. Hashtag Queen Eagle, Jamaica's non-binary STEM queen. So my background is in chemistry, environmental chemistry, to be specific. I'm a doctoral student, not candidate yet, here in the US. New to the Fish Tea family, like Lanvell. So, we're being guided by I don't want to say all of the Beyonce and the Michelle of the group. It's been a wonderful experience. Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It is certainly my pleasure to have you all here. So come, tell me about Fish Tea Podcast. First, let's get into the name. Who came up with the name? And give me that background about the name, because I know there is something behind that. So go ahead and let's get into that.
Wasn't it you, Kareem?
It was. I was brainstorming ideas for like episode names and so on. And it was meant to be an episode name, at least in my head. Because the Cornell, who isn't on, Cornell Gray, who kind of brought the idea to us about doing the podcast, I was kind of like leaving the name to him and so on. And we created a WhatsApp group, and I was just throwing it out, and I threw out Fish Tea, and it just like, it hit. And Glenroy and Cornell were like, yup, I ate that. Yup, that's the name. And then, we thought it was cool. Then we started putting it out there. People like were literally like catching on to it, and it became its own thing. So just like, oh shit, we done started something here. So it's a play on fish, of course, because we are men, and then tea because we get we talk and we you know, we just be kiki and we're ourselves on there. So fish tea.
I love it. I love it.
With our Jamaican background, you know, fish tea
Fish
is
tea.
right. So
It works on multiple levels. It works on multiple levels. Love that. So for any viewers out there who may be watching this and they are not, you know, acquainted with Fish Tea Podcast or aware of Fish Tea Podcast, please just give a breakdown of what, you know, Fish Tea Podcast embodies and what a viewer will expect, you know, walking into listen to their first episode.
I feel like we should do the intro.
Please no, because we're gonna say the bottoms up late and it's not gonna go good.
That's true.
But
But
the thing about Fish Tea is that if you ever want to hear about Jamaican lives, like queer Jamaican lives, that's really what Fish Tea seeks to put front and center. It's about 4 people who come from different backgrounds, originally 3, now 4, come from different backgrounds, and who want to show the different ways in which we navigate love, we navigate life, we navigate challenges, we trouble ourselves with different issues, whether it is acceptance within our families. I remember one of my favorite episodes was when Kareem brought his mother on and she talked about not just being a mother to Kareem, but being a mother to his friends, you know? I was able to bring some members of my chosen family on as well. We've spoken to somebody who talked about like religion and being queer and, you know, working in those intersection. So it's all of that. It's 1 part academic, 5 parts careless. So
I like that.
Right, you're right, Nick.
So after careless, not with a resident ghetto girl, the self-proclaimed resident ghetto girl.
Yeah. I love that. So tell me something. So everyone's Jamaican, correct? Yes. So what's the feedback been like from family, friends, other Jamaicans when it comes to the podcast and, you know, being really out there, like bringing the tea, giving the girls the true tea, the full tea, being unapologetic, and still in a Jamaican way? Because, you know, many times I know, especially in the past, when one is a queer Jamaican and you're no longer in Jamaica, you're in a different space, many times to be queer, you have to leave some of that Jamaicanness behind or something to that effect. And with this podcast, you've really just encapsulated all of that together. So being that out and open and spilling the true tea, what's that reaction been like? Well, let's go with you.
Well, for me, I don't think my mom has listened to the podcast, but everybody else loves it. The only time I end up having any sort of anxiety was when we bring on Fetish, which is one of our regulars who come and talk about the sex things and, you know, all of them something there. Yes. And then I just get so into it and start spill all of my tea, personal tea on the podcast. Right, I'm into what she's into, so yeah. That's the only time I feel like any look away, like if I want to share the episode with them or anything. But they love it. They live for everything we are living for on Fish Tea.
That is great. Kareem?
It's a similar. Like my mom is a big listener. She knows when the episode is coming out before I do. And if she can't get it, she'll say, Kareem, come in and see on my phone this week. Now this is she come with the little Apple Podcast app and she said, no, this is something for going off and find it. So no, it's been really good. My friends, they keep up with it. I love the space because, like you said, especially someone like me living here, it's not often that I can show up as my whole entire self. And even if I could show up queer, I can't show up queer and Jamaican because it's weird. Nobody gets it. Nobody gets a reference. I'm just like, all right, I have to explain that soon. My friends here try to be supportive by listening, but then we'll go deep into the patois.
Because the girls are giving patois, yes.
we lose them. And I feel like that was something that we grappled with at first, like trying to make it accessible, but I don't know. I think I like it. Like we go in and out, and it feels authentic. And
where is each person located?
I live in
Go again.
Oh, sorry. I live in Kingston.
Mm-hmm. Kareem,
I'm in New York, New Jersey.
Lanvell.
Well, I used to live in Kingston. I'm now in the UK.
And M.
I'm in Syracuse, New York.
Oh, okay. So Glenroy is the only one right now on the island.
Yeah.
I see. Okay, wonderful. So talk about the queer Jamaicans and the response from them, what you've heard from others, and what you think, this podcast means for queer people and queer Jamaicans specifically. Lanvell, I'm gonna throw that one to you.
I think, and I've said this on the podcast, and I think I've tweeted this also, that some years from now, we will appreciate what fish tea is and what it's doing, documenting queer lives of Jamaicans. Because I think for me, for a long part of my life, I was struggling with my own queerness. So I never had the spaces to talk about a lot of these things. And I think it's really good to have for queer persons who we grew up different parts of the country, different circumstances, coming to our own. And I think it's really good because some queer persons might listen to it and they might not vocalize how they feel, but at least one person might possibly relate to the story of Glenn, might possibly relate to the story of Kareem, might possibly relate to my story, or M's story, or somebody who we bring on the podcast. Because I don't think I haven't seen it, but I don't know in what other ways we're documenting the queer history in Jamaica. Other countries have been doing it. And I think Fish Tea is one such platform that is kind of providing that avenue where whether young, old, whatever age you are, there's content that you can relate to. And I think that is what I love and appreciate.
Yes, I can just imagine that. So Glenroy touched on something, and Kareem as about the accessibility of the podcast, and when going into it, thinking about that with the patois and everything. That's something I've always thought about too, with many other things that I've done, like in media or with writing or stuff like that. And I always remember Marlon James, when I started reading Marlon James, and I was like, okay, the girl just going to write in a patois. She's going to give the girls full patois. And then he won the Man Booker Award. I was like, baby, fuck that accessibility. Like, we are going to do what we are going to do because we have a story to be told. And, doing it in the way that we are able to do it, with our language, with the way how we speak, with the way how we behave, all of that is important. It's really important in telling the stories authentically, as well as really capturing the essence of what it means to be queer and Jamaican. So I think that is so important. So that's a big thing that you guys are doing. Talk to me about queer life in Jamaica, though, currently. Like, what is it like for queer people what is it like in Jamaica right now in 2022? If anyone can give me that perspective, that would be great, just for viewers. And Glenroy, since you're there, maybe you want to jump on that one. I don't know.
I mean, it really I always answer this question by saying, it really depends on a range of factors and who you're talking to. So if it's someone like me who's privileged in particular ways, it's pretty good. You have limited challenges. You're able to access different things. Are there some instances of, like, for example, someone saying some wayward, well, I'm not going to curse on your platform because I don't know if I can.
You can curse. You can curse.
Oh, okay. I saw it like a truck driver. But someone said wayward BS as you're walking. That does happen, especially a queen like me who likes her heels, who likes her capes, right? And I'm gonna wear them wherever I want to wear them. So I'll have those experiences. But honestly, largely, I found that we've made some considerable strides. But that's me, and that's my individualized experience. If it's somebody who's a bit poorer, who doesn't have certain access to education, then it can be a complete the complete opposite. And I think it's important to appreciate that there's no one queer life in Jamaica. We no longer have fixed spaces that we used to have. Even though there are some safe spaces, we used to have a club, and we're going to have an interesting conversation in an episode coming up discussing some of the history behind that. But now, you know, parties are a big part of how we connect with our community, and of course, COVID affected that. So I would say that has been a bit of a damper on things, but the girls are still out. The girls are still doing it. When Kareem came here, I made sure he know where to come on the Monday, because you know there's a the girls go on the Monday. You know, and giving suggestions about so you can actually feel what it is to be queer and Jamaican. But of course, once again, depends on who you are.
Yeah. Certainly. And so many of you have spent a lot of time, you know, overseas, abroad in different ways. What's the feeling like when you're like, okay, I'm going to go back to Jamaica, when it comes to how you behave or how you act or just, you know, assimilating to the culture? Is that a thing? Is that something you think of, or that's not a worry? Lanvell, you're shaking your head. Give me your perspective.
I think before in 2019, I was one of the 19 Sheldon scholars who went to UK, and I felt free in experiencing UK and experiencing what queer life was here. And I think when I went back to Jamaica, I think I went back with that same kind of mindset. And as Glenroy said, I think I'm also in the group that is privileged. So there's a lot of things that people would say that can't exist for queer persons in Jamaica. For example, like in Jamaica, I live with my partner, and all those kind of things. So I don't maybe before 2019, I used to police my behavior a lot, but I think after returning to Jamaica, I don't necessarily go around policing my behavior. But again, I am a part of the privileged group. I'm able to navigate spaces way differently from other persons. I don't necessarily have to take public transportation. I can drive to and from and all those kind of things. I can afford to go to some of the places that other persons might not be able to go to. But yeah.
Yeah. I mean, just to quickly add, because I was just there recently. I was there in December. And prior to that, my first time being back in almost a decade was like the previous year. And so, you know, I love my nails. I get my nails done. And yes, these are my nails. But when I was coming back the first time, I went to my nail tech and I had him like trim my nails down. I took off all the polish, all the acrylic, and I was just like, oh my God, I don't know. I haven't been back. Like, you know, if Glenroy was telling me things have changed, I'm like, I haven't been there. I don't know what the lay of the land is like. I don't know. And then I couldn't function. So I went back and I had him, you know, give me some extensions. We had them really short. This trip though, I went back with them as long as they are. I just never like had the diamonds and so on. I just had them like a neutral color. And I was very surprised at like people's reaction to me with nails. Mostly women, but like even from men, I don't know, it was kind of like a look of awe and shock and just confusion. But it wasn't anything that was vocalized. It was like, oh yeah, fish, button, or anything like that. It's nothing like that. It was just more so like stares. And I don't know, the whole time, like, no, this offers some type of foreign privilege because nobody's saying anything. Like, I got one gas station one time and this girl come down and I get the car and I beg her float the tank. You know, she take it and she smile and she walk off. Babs, as she that and three her friend them come down from the window. I mean, I said, Jesus, please, I turn to my brother and say, hey, the girl draw a crowd for me now. She Japan. When I see a nails, you go on here, come see you go on so the nails, you go on so far, you good as I say, yeah, supposed to. And she just my friend start dead with laugh on it. So it was like those type of reactions. I was like, oh. Again, it goes, I cannot say that. I don't know if it would have been the same if me I walked like downtown by myself already, which I wasn't doing. Driving everywhere. You know, I come from France and I look a bit of coins, I can go yassa. Like just access and privilege that I think I benefit from in that sense.
Yeah, and I asked because a friend of mine, they were here staying with me from October until yesterday. And as the days just loomed to go back to Jamaica, he was just like, girl, I literally cannot. And he's like, the only thing we are keep me through at 2 minutes and me I come back summer, you know? And so I was wondering about that because the last time I went back was 2016. And when I was there, and I went to my home that I grew up in and everything, everybody knew me a long time I lived there. And I'm walking down the lane. Hear somebody scream out from their veranda, huh? Kingfish, come back.
Oh.
I missed it. No, what could be going on? For the 20 odd years I've lived there, I had just, never experienced anything like that. Never in all my years in my community, nobody never gave me that. I was fine. I grew up with everybody. It was cute. Me come America to come college and come back down and me I hear Kingfish come back. So after that, I don't take any more taxi, girl. I drove everywhere after that. Me drive everywhere. Me not take no more taxi because it was just not for me. So I know that many times someone like me who spent a considerable amount of time, abroad, going back can feel different because like when I'm here, like I don't think about anything I'm doing, I'm just living regularly. And so to go back and to have that in your head, to even think about like this exists in any way, shape, or form, it's something new to take on. Certainly.
They just don't say much to me. Like 'cause when people stare, they just don't say much. I don't know. When I went back to my thing, there's this one lady though who was like, superstar. And I was just like, lady, I don't know. She's like, oh, listen to your podcast. I was like, oh, really? I mean, I never like engaged in conversation, but it's like, oh shit, that's good to hear. Like, hey.
Well, I love that. I love that people are listening. I love that that is great. And so many Jamaicans can really benefit from that. And especially hearing, your stories and experiences from someone like them, they might be fish, but also Jamaican. So, they can really get into that. All right. So for anybody who's watching who wants to tune into the podcast, they want to learn more about each of you, they want to learn more about Jamaican queer experiences, how can they do that? How can they follow you all? So I'm going to start with Emme, then Lanvell, then Glenroy, then Kareem. How can people follow you? And then at the end, just let everyone know how they can listen to the podcast and what new might be coming up.
Okay, so for me, I'm on Twitter at Sierra Lipido, CRALIPDO, I think. Had a brain fart for a moment. But my Twitter is just advocacy stuff, environmental, with a little bit of trash here and there. But if you really want to get to know me, I have an editorial that's published online on Issues. So you can search for me at Queen Eagle on Issue. And you'll find it's 4 issues of just my deepest, not secrets, but the parts of me that I've kept hidden that I'm just now like working through and willing to share with the public.
Fabulous. Lanvell?
Well, I don't know if they want to follow me, but
yes, we need the memes, Lanvell.
My Instagram is cleaner. But on Instagram and Twitter, I'm at _Lanvell. That's LANVELL. Some days I'm tweeting mental health. Most days I'm just dragging people left, right, and center. But yeah, yeah.
Thank you, Glenroy.
Come on, let's just say Lanvell gives it to the girls. I love Lanvell's Twitter. Well, I'm at Glenn Devo on both Instagram and on Twitter, but on Instagram it's Glenn.Devo, I think, or something to that effect. Yeah. Yes, I think it's Glenn.Devo. And it's at Glenn Devo on Twitter. I mean, I've been like taking a backseat with my tweeting. I don't tweet as much as I used to because I used to talk about what, a bunch of national development issues. I was trying to be that for no, but that's how much we show them on that and I feel and I share the score them. Right. But I also, my house has a page, is at host_of_Yemoja, where every now and then we post up family, what we do as a family and different things like that. But yeah, I mean, carelessness, that's my Twitter. Well, as I said, 1 part academic, 5 parts
Five-part carelessness. Kareem.
I am the Kareem Willis everywhere. So Instagram, Twitter, anywhere you have a social handle, it'll be the Kareem Willis. And my Instagram is, I don't know, me dressing up, serving looks every now and then. And every now and then I post on my stories because I feel cute. So yeah.
Close friends.
Is a close friends.
I'm on time, my business life.
And for Fish Tea Podcast, how can people listen?
We are at Fish Tea Podcast on Twitter and Instagram, or Gmail is fishteapodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google. You can find us on Pinecast. Where else? Spotify, yup.
iHeartRadio, we should be on there too. I added that part.
Yeah.
So y'all should be able to find us on there too.
Love that. So all places where fabulous podcasts are hosted. So great. Awesome. Well, we will have those links in the description. So people who are watching, you can go ahead and go there now. Well, not now, but when we put it in the description. So the links will be in the description. Thank you all so much for joining me today. Glenroy, Kareem, Emme, Lanvell. It was so great chatting with you all. It's so great that you're doing what you're doing. Thanks for what you're doing in the community. Not just for the fishes of the world, but for everybody else. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. It has been my pleasure. And to those who are watching, you know that you can go ahead and follow Team Racine Productions on all forms of social media at Team Racine. Please like, comment, and subscribe. But most of all, thank you for watching. Bye, everyone.